I'm here along New Upper Changi Road in Bedok, and today we are visiting the most recommended mala place that I got from you guys, Bashu Sichuan, in search of the best mala. I have saved the best for last. Bashu Sichuan is the top recommended place that I got from you guys, and perhaps the top rated Sichuan restaurant in Singapore. At 4.6 of 1,400 reviews, I don't think you can do much better than that. And I know what you might be wondering, Eldrick, what is a Ba Shu? Ba Shu refers to the ancient state of Ba and Shu, both of which belong to Sichuan. The ancient state of Ba was located around modern Chongqing, where we were a couple of weeks back, and the ancient state of Shu around modern Chengdu. Yan Yi refers to a dramatization of history. So Ba Shu Yan Yi is the romanticized telling of the events in the ancient state of Ba and Shu. We are going to a place called Ba Shu Yan Yi to eat Sichuan food. Okay, Liu Bei. Last mala place in the series. Let's get it, guys. Hey, thanks for watching the video. If you enjoy the content, the best way to support me is what you are doing right now, giving me the video watch time. All of the reviews in this series are strictly unsponsored. If I don't pay for it, I won't talk about it, which means that I have to make money in other ways. Please consider joining as a member of the channel if you can afford to do so, or subscribe if you haven't already. Your support is much appreciated. And now back to the video. 你好，什么？要一位，一位啊，好，谢谢。然后因为我们来点了5个沙拉，然后可以直接帮你点菜。好的好的，就给我一个麻婆豆腐，一个白饭，一个辣子鸡，再来一个招牌鱼啊，有一个青椒鱼。青椒鱼对，好的，谢谢。3个菜，然后一个饭。是。I came just as they are closing for the afternoon break, so I did all the ordering straight up. They just off the lights. Anyway, I don't want to be overpromised, but the smell of the辣子鸡is really reminding me of Chongqing. But let's not skip steps. First, the Mapo Tofu. Forget landing the beef flavor from Mapo Tofu, they are straight up stealing it. I don't think these are minced beef or rather I think this looks like fried beef tallow. What's the beef equivalent of lardons? Although the texture of the sauce seems a bit thick. Anyway, last Mapo Tofu of the series. Why fight fair? Why don't more places do this? It's not like this minced meat or fat is expensive. You only need like what, 15-20 grams of this? And it adds such a layer to the dish. This is not to cover everything and use it as a crutch. You can still very obviously taste the 豆豉, the 豆瓣酱, the 红油, and a little bit of 花椒粉 on the top. In fact, there is quite a bit of 红油 here because you can see how it's keeping the dish warm. The tofu is still piping hot after taking all the B-roll. Because like I said in episode 4, it forms a layer above the dish so that it's harder for steam to escape and the dish stays warmer for longer. Also, other than eating the tofu, I'm also eating my words. Because I said that you cannot get the perfect texture of Mapo Tofu if your tofu is perfect without any chip edges. But here I want to say like a good 50-60% of their tofu is quite perfect. Okay, there are chip edges, but the look of the tofu is beautiful. I don't think look-wise you can do any better than this. I mean, when you put it in your mouth, you can barely taste the difference between the perfect one and the non-perfect one, but it's so aesthetic. Oh, there's ma jiao. I just beat ma jiao. There's a little bit of ma jiao. Oh, that's nice. That's very nice. I like that in Mapo Tofu. Okay, off to a strong start. Let's move on to the辣子鸡. They are doing the boneless version with very little batter. Can you even call this a batter? I'm not sure. But the smell of this, like I mentioned earlier, really brought me back to Chongqing. Because not only do I smell the 花椒, I smell a bit of 火锅底料. This is done almost the same style as Chengdu. Okay, let's see how it does. Great flavor and seasoning. They have worked some sort of oil, you can see on the side of the plate, to coat the chicken, almost like a 火锅底料, and it's just super flavorful. Beyond just the salt and the tastiness, there are so many layers. The accompanying fragrance as well, ma wei just right, the roasted chilies, very well wrapped. The only miss that I have for it is that it's too friendly. On top of being the boneless version, the pieces are also cut rather big, which makes for a nice mouthful of meat. But in terms of the辣子鸡, that gives significant misses. One, the chicken is juicy because the moisture is not completely purged out. And what that does is that this remaining moisture in the meat quickly tries to escape into the batter, causing it to lose its crispiness. This is probably the one scenario out of 100 where you don't want your chicken to be juicy. The second weakness of being big is that the flavors of the 辣子鸡 will not be able to cover the whole morsel. Because 辣子鸡 is not marinated, you depend 100% on the external flavors. That's why it's always cut so small. So this is the first time in the series I taste that bland chicken in the bigger pieces. And the last miss, it is fried so gently. On top of having a batter, you can see that the parts that are not really covered by the batter, it's barely fried, like a gentle yellow. This means that you do not get the flavor of that brown chicken, which makes such a difference in a dish like 辣子鸡. While I say this much about the misses, right, don't get me wrong, this is still delicious. Okay, next, I said I won't order 酸菜鱼, but when they have a poster 4 meters wide under their signboard and there is 花椒 on it, they kind of force my hand, right? I mean, they even have a specific bowl for it with their logo and this 当家头牌菜火卖近10年. 10 years ago, it's like 2014, by the way.
Why would you say that?
Also, I don't know who they engaged to do their translations. They have to ask for their money back. Anyway, 酸菜鱼, really good first impressions. Nice thick layer of oil, good color. Look at the thickness of this slice of fish. Let's give this a go. Did you see that? Before I go on to the fish, I want to say the service here is very good. Even in the limited interactions. Like leading up to this, they will chat a little bit. The staff outside, they are courteous. They are very fast. The food got served very fast. I'm not sure if you all realize, they even have the hourglass here. So they keep up their serving time to a certain standard. And I mean this, she was just sweeping the floor over there. And when the phone rang, she ran over. They are supposed to be closed right now. So even if the phone doesn't go through, and you and I know how many times that happens, it's not really her fault. But no. Okay, tangent over. Now back to the fish. This is what I'm talking about. So flavorful. Like in the Sichuan Restaurant episode, I say that between the broth and the oil, right, there isn't enough flavor. Not the case here. They are not shy at all. When we take the fish, and we'll get there, it catches the oil as it comes up. It just hits all the right notes. And the fish. This might just be the same quality and the same fish as Sichuan Tianfu, but just because it's cut like a bit thicker, the difference in texture is so different. I'd rather have 10 pieces of fish with good texture than 20 pieces that are too thin. Other than that, not really a miss for it. I would have liked to have a fish of better quality, but it's kind of like, you know, asking for more money. Everybody also wants. At this price point, I'm more than satisfied. And the secondary maybe miss is that it is very numbing. It is funny that it takes a dish that is just loaded with numbing peppercorn, that has their shanshu, I don't even know how to pronounce it, shanshu steeped into the oil. It takes a dish like this to match the numbness I felt at Green on Earth. Okay, let's wrap it up and I'll see you guys at the cafe. We are now at Pacolat. How would you pronounce this? Do you pronounce it like chocolate? Or do you pronounce it as a vowel like discombobulate? And I got myself an iced latte, which is not made fresh again. What? I don't know if there's any tangible difference in pre-made coffee versus freshly made, but I just don't like it. I mean, if the cafe is not even pulling fresh espresso shots, it's like a work from home cafe. Anyway, recap. I don't believe it. Just before I left, a triple S tier telltale sign of good food. So while I was packing up, right, the attendant came over to ask me how is the food, and I told her it's great. And then she said, 下次来记得要尝试我们的蒜泥白肉，我们这边打工的人都很喜欢。If you ever have an F&B staff, and I don't mean business owners, because every restaurant owner thinks that their food is great. I don't even mean like front of house managers. But if the waitress start recommending you stuff, and I don't mean like, promotional voice, now today we have a today special or whatever. Like you can genuinely tell that they like the food there, it's GG. This is only the second time this happened to me. The first time was at Table and Apron in Kuala Lumpur. And both times, amazing food. Which brings us to where we are at today. The difference between local food and Chongqing, right? Or even China in general. Because quite a few told me that you feel exactly the same after coming back from China. But the difference, right, is that China food is more 狠. It's more violent, deliberate. It's like every dish, right? Some uncle is there saying, 要这样做才比较好吃，你要这样吃. So it translates to like the 辣子鸡, right? 放火锅底料比较香. Okay, I'm speaking too much Chinese. The nationality of my tongue. The Mapo Tofu, whack the beef. The 青椒鱼片, don't be shy on the oil and the numbness. It's like when they say 重口味, right? They really mean it. This is no low-fat ice cream nor low-sodium salt. When they say 重口味, they give it 150%. So, that brings us to the verdict. 1 plate I'll walk for the mala, 2 plates I'll take a bus for the mala, and 3 plates I'll go anywhere in Singapore for the mala. And Bashu演义 is 3 plates. I got reminded of Chongqing. I really did. And I got a funny feeling this is the closest I will get to Sichuan cuisine without taking a flight. Because restaurants are still businesses at the end of the day, I suspect that if you serve food like how you serve it in Chongqing, you will have 200 Google reviews saying that your food is too oily, too salty, too spicy, not for the kids. So I'm really happy to have found a place like Bashu演义. But is it the best mala in Singapore? We don't know. How can we know? We didn't eat any of these malas back to back. It took place over the course of 3 months. So I guess we have to run it back, pit all these mala places head to head against each other in our next and final episode of the Best Mala series. But for now, that's all I have for you guys this time. I'll see you on the next video. Bye!